Welcome to the Roy Anthony and every Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all tap in.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank
and Cynthia.
It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank
and Cynthia.
It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. Everybody tune in, you dig it? It's funny as hell, my dude. It's when we can kick
every Tuesday.
Everything is going
every
down.
Thursday.
They about to do the most. It ain't a confrontation, it's a conversation, homie. Yo, on the weekends, the Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Tuesday.
It's during the week, homie. The Roy
every
Anthony
Thursday.
Show. What you listening to? The Roy Anthony Show. Come on and get a
tap in
before we gotta
tap
go.
in.
What you listening to? The Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Tuesday.
Come on and kick it with us. The Roy Anthony
every
Show.
Thursday.
It's going down, homeboy. The Roy Anthony Show. Co-host
tap in.
Big Hank. We getting it. What you think? Hey. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest.
Father God, Lord Jesus, the creator of heaven and the earth, we come before you right now. Somebody called you a burden bearer. Somebody called you a heavy load carrier. Somebody called you a wheel in the middle of a wheel. But I'd like to call you the creator of all things right now. For you put a leaf on a limb, and a limb on a branch, and a branch on a tree, and a tree on some roots, and the roots in the dirt, and the dirt in a hole, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around. The green grass grew all around you. Now I want to thank you for chicken. Thank God for chicken. Didn't have to do it, but he did. Gave him 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 breakfasts, 2 wings, hot sauce on everything. And I can hear that chicken tonight, Lord, as he offer up a sacrifice of praise. I believe I can fry.
What it do? What it do? What it do? This is Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show podcast. Along with my co-stars that will be popping in, Miss Cynthia Joy Towner, Mr. Big Hank Norman. So we have different guests that be popping in sometimes. They like to come in. My man Carl Loomis up in Oregon, and Miss Leonie Waits in Southern California. And then different guests. If you ever want to come in on the show, just let me know and we'll send you the link. We represent the WO Entertainment Platform, which was created by U.S. military veterans, and the top veteran, the head producer of the show, which is Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp. That's his comedic name, along with the co-creator Goose. Then we have our associate producers, Blue Phoenix, Ethan Daly. We always give shout outs to our good neighbors and friends, which I mentioned. Carl Loomis is one of the non-veterans that represents the BB Nation, which is the backwood veterans based out of Oregon. Then we have veterans and non-veterans and all-star, Long Beach All-Stars, beg my pardon, which is based out of Long Beach, Linwood, Compton, and Watts. And then we had the WO Entertainment family itself that's based around the United States and other countries, and then our own personal family, friends, associates, and those who don't like us. You know, we want to say salute, thank God for my family, my mother, my kids, other family members, and one of the things that we've been talking about this week is the church, especially the Black church, but just church period. If you know me, my faith is built on believing in a spiritual God, and that He gave me salvation through His Son Jesus Christ. Now I'm very spiritual. I'm just not religious. I'm not a person who goes to the actual building more than I do where I socialize, where the count with me is, God said, where two or three is gathered together, touching and agreeing, He's a God amongst them. And I rely upon that sometimes, in the verse it says that the shepherd leaves the 99 to find the one. And that's been my vision right now this week. And while bringing up the church is that we need, I always tell people you need a spiritual base. In this way, this world is wicked. It can get so consuming and it can be depressing and everything. Oh, I want to give a shout out to my man, Just Me. He said 18 days. What's up, y'all? Man, that's a blessing. It's 18 days sober, and that is a victory. Every day positive is a victory. I've been through it. I've been through it. There was stuff that I have become just I was hooked on different drugs and stuff like that. And just me, I want you to let you know you're not by yourself, and you take it one day at a time to the point that actually know the days has accumulated into months to where it become a year, and it's something to be proud of each and every day. Now, sometimes when a person is going for sobriety, sometimes they might have a setback. I tell people, don't give up. Don't beat yourself up. We all fall down and we get back up. The word of God says that a wise man falls 7 times and still gets up. Don't wallow in your mud or your despair and everything. We're humans. To human is air. That's what I say. To air is human. So you're human. But we're proud of the 18 days he's been going through. That's 2 weeks and 4 days, bruh. You feel me? And you're doing the most. And I just want to give a round of applause to you, Just Me. Big Hank, he was letting us know too. See, he's been sober for 15 years. Give him a round of applause. Beautiful wife, head deacon at the church. Sometimes people look at us for the things that we say or do. And oh yeah, for sure, bro. And stuff. Man, we're congratulators, just like on this show. If there's anything that I say that somebody might not agree with, or they be like, oh, that was not right, and whatever, that's just an opinion. And my opinion does not speak for the WO. I don't mind. I'm coming raw. Even though I'm a professional stand-up comedian, me and Big Hank prided ourselves to be able to have a podcast. And if you notice, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. When I perform, usually it's in the evening time unless it's a special event. But on this podcast, we really like to have conversations that represent how we feel, see how other people feel, and we pull subjects. That's why we say it's not a confrontation, it's a conversation. We're not coming to you saying, oh, we like this, and if you don't like this, no, we're not like that. Because just like I learned something too, Steve. I didn't know that the Palestinians was the Philistines, of the Bible. I didn't know that. They the ones who, to my understanding, crucified Christ and gave havoc, to the disciples. But how, Just Me said we don't always agree on everything, but I enjoy the conversation. Most definitely. Man, there was times where I learned about from Just Me back in the days when we was talking about the Confederate flag one time. You know, Knowledge is king. Now, do I myself respect it? I feel like as a U.S. citizen, we're united. We have one flag. Um, and in our yard, my mother would always have the United States flag flying. We that's what we put up on the porch. Raymond Thurgood, True Blood. My bad, I said Raymond Thurgood. Raymond True Blood is in the house. He gave the emojis chilling with the emoji chilling glasses and the thumbs up. What's up with you, bro? It's good to see you. And so what? And you know what I be talking about while I'm talking about the church? I always have to start with because our American currency, it seems like currency is the thing that pushes our country. And it seems like on our dollar bill, if you look on it, it says in God we trust. Um, um, Raymond sent another, okay, I feel you, man. Raymond Trueblood. I want to say his name correctly. Um, just me said I have the American flag and the gold navy beat Army flag up. And Raymond said, yes, sir. So, like we know, and everybody, you always have a freedom to comment. I'm gonna read it. Only comments that I never put up or read if it seems like it's derogatory or someone's picking on someone, because we're not that. And I'm a Black American, but I really don't like to say Black American because I'm an American. If I go to any other countries in the world and I start talking, the first thing they say, "Oh, you're an American." Yes, there's no color codes like we resort here in the United States. I'm a proud American, and in God I do trust, and I believe through God that I have salvation through His Son Jesus Christ. Now, it was taught to me about God and Jesus, but I didn't. How we young, we go about our way. And the word of God is not stupid. He said, raise your kids up, and that when they do get up and they leave, they will return. After going through life and putting things in my own hands, I found myself in predicaments that wasn't suitable for my own self or anybody around me. And then one day, believe it or not, sometimes you gotta go to the bottom. I mean, I've been through the bottom. A lot of my friends will tell you in Los Angeles, believing in my beliefs and sticking with the integrity that I felt. I was homeless 3 times. Well, we'll say 3.5 times. They always tease me about that. Bro, you was homeless 3.5 times. What was the half? Well, I had a car at that half, you know what I'm saying? And but one of the worst, I think the bottom is I felt like I was 10 feet below ground. I ended up on Skid Row and I was there for 3 weeks. And you can call everybody. And some people are like, oh, well, I got to do that, Lord. And you can't have somebody help you with your life. They can give you directions and stuff. But at this time, I need ultimate help. So only one I could call was God. And he heard my cries. I'm talking about something that happened almost 20 years ago. He heard my cries. And you ever been where you say, Lord, if you help me out of this, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that again? There was a movie with Burt Reynolds, and I forget the name of it, but it's where he didn't know if he wanted to live or die. And in this one particular scene, he was way out in the ocean. And he was like, God, if you can hear me, I give everything I have to help mankind. So the closer he got, the percentage started going down. He went to giving everything to when he got closer. He was like, well, Lord, I promise you, I'll give you 50%. The closer he got, I'm going to give you that 25%. When he got close to shore, it was almost like, Lord, I'm going to remember and stuff. But I always say, Lord, I don't want to go backwards. And I remember saying, God, if you can get me out of this, and stuff, Lord, and knowing he can get me out, but it's my look of my own self, if I'm making any sense, knowing that I don't deserve it. Hear me right. Me, myself, I don't deserve it. But God, who loved me more than I love myself, said, okay, I'm going to help you. And when I seen myself coming up, I made up my mind, I'm not going to forget where I come from, because that's what happens to a lot of us. We forget where we come from. And now we blame others in this situation and that situation for the predicament that I'm in. But I will tell anybody, God might be trying to tell you something. It's like the movie Color Purple when they start singing, God is trying to tell you something. God, sometimes we want to look at a material thing to be the reasons. And just like just me, man, there was stuff that I went through that I felt that I needed to use a drug or I need to use this alcohol to get by. Um, I had never met, I'm gonna share a personal thing. I had never met my biological dad, and I was getting ready to get to meet him. And the month, in the month that I was going to get to meet him, I want not ashamed to let anybody know, he was a mafia figure. He actually worked with a real mafia figure, and he was in Pelican Bay, which was one of the most notorious prisons in the West Coast. And he had did so many years, basically throughout my life, that he was about to be released, and he had a heart attack. And what was hard is that I have a first cousin who was like, we was like brothers. So he was we was 3 months apart. Ace Coon, that was my boy. We was like brothers, but he was my first cousin. Him, and I was best man at his wedding. Him, my sister-in-law, and my two little nephews. Even though they all cousins, but we call brothers, and my little nephews, they was all murdered in '98. And my brother's birthday was January 27th, and my dad died on that day. My brother was murdered in '98, and my dad died on his birthday, January the 27th. And the weight of it all mentally was so overbearing that I've always been known to be a strong one, but it was so overbearing that I didn't know if I could talk with anybody. I just kind of cut everything out, and my only friend was a tequila bottle. My job gave me bereavement leave, and for 3 weeks, every time I would think I would go and get my mind off of this stuff, the first thing I do is the tequila bottle seemed like it amplified, and I take one sip, and next you know, I'm drinking the half the bottle, falling asleep anywhere in my apartment. I remember waking up one time and I'm on the kitchen floor, and the tequila bottle's leaning against my shoulder like it was my best friend. And we call it a rut. I was in a rut. I didn't know how to get out of it. There was no one I could talk to help me. And then I said, Lord God, help me. If you hear my cries, I don't want to be this way, but I'm too weak in my thinking to get beyond this. And it wasn't overnight. It didn't clear up overnight. This is the time when I start. There was within the same year, it was getting depressed. I didn't know I was depressed, and until I started wanting to commit suicide. For 3 weeks, of all this I feel like I'm walking like Atlas, like the whole world is on my shoulder. Nobody cares about nobody. My mom's do, but she's 1,500 miles away from me, and as a man, I'm like, I can't resort to my mom's and stuff, even though I know she's helped me, but her prayers and stuff. And every day I'm walking by this bridge. I would get off the train and I'm walking to the hotel I'm staying in. There's a bridge, walk overpass. And I wanted every day, it was pounding my head. You should end your life. This life ain't doing you no well. Look, you done lost your people. Ain't nobody here for you. Nobody cares for you. You should just go on and lose yourself. Kill yourself. It'll be better in the afterworld. Just me said that's a lot of weight to carry on your own. Been there, and I lie to you not. It was pounding in my head every time I called her. You should just jump off this bridge, start anew. These are demons fooling you, though. Jump off the bridge, Roy. Jump. So, and little things that was negative would make those suicidal thoughts come in louder. I'm already in depression and a funk, but other little things seems to like, man, ain't nothing going good. I got a buzz's feather in my butt. I can't do this no more. So I'm getting off the train one day. I'll never forget this. It's been 3 weeks. I'm walking on the bridge thing, and it was so loud that it was hypnotizing. And I turned, and I'm facing the rail. I'm just standing there. And God will send somebody, whether it's a stranger or anybody. I'm standing there looking at the bridge, and this little Latino lady was walking by, and she said, "Are you all right?" And it seemed like I took out of a trance because I'm going. The whole world is lost to me now. The depression, the mental stress, everything has now formed me to seek other ways, which is to end my life. And let's see what the second episode of life, after this, let's see what happens next. And when the little lady said, "Are you all right?" And I looked up, and like I said, it shook me from a trance. And I just looked at her. And so she was looking over what I'm doing. She said, what was you looking at? She said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna be all right." And she turned to start walking. Just me said, "I buried my dad in 2015 and drank every day since 9 years straight. I did a little math the other day and came up." Oh no, he said, "I did a little math. My bad. I ain't put that on you. I did a little math the other day and came up with 60,830 beers and 96,000 spent." Ain't that, man? Let me tell you something. I understand too, just me. Now he didn't spend that all at one time. He said he calculated the math of 9 years. He knows what he bought. I know exactly what you mean. The bottle, what the price costs and everything. And then when you add it up, like you said, after 9 years straight, he do the math and like, whoa. And I was doing the same thing, but when you were getting the alcohol or the drugs, you're not even looking at the total. Is that I need the satisfaction at this moment. Starlet said, "Hey, beautiful people, hey, Starlet. Let me tell you something, what happened. When I turned and I started walking away, all of a sudden God started telling me, uplift yourself." I was like, huh? Uplift yourself. And I was, for real, this is the truth. It got to the point I had to say it out loud to myself. "Roy, you can do it. Roy, you got this. Roy, you the #1 comedian. Make them laugh. Don't give up. Make them laugh. Get where you're supposed to be." I'm doing this every day. Look, people thinking I'm crazy. Before I'm doing the show, I get hired at the Queen Mary as a headliner. The people thinking I'm crazy because they hearing me, "Roy, you can do this. You got this." And one day, just like Just Me is saying, one day, you got this. You got this. Every day I was saying this, I was encouraging myself. God is for you. Who can be against you? You, Roy, you got this. You, Roy Anthony. God got you. God got you. And it started building strength in me. I didn't feel encouraged to do what I've been doing in the past. Because now in my mind, it's resulted that everything that I was doing against God and myself was leaving me into that. You ever get to a point where you say, you know what, I ain't worthy? And then this is when I understood what grace meant, what God's grace. Grace means an unmerited favor, meaning you didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. We're not promised to live. You're not promised to breathe air. Where's the contract tells you you're supposed to have so many breaths of air? I don't care if you're rich, you poor. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat. We live to die. And we do not know when death comes. One of our best friends passed. It hurt, but me and my friends, we able to laugh about stuff because the preacher said something about when that appointment comes. You know, when that date for death comes, you can't take a rain check. You can't say, hey man, check this out. This is not a good day for me. Now I've been in situations where death was there, but by the grace of God, I didn't deserve it. I should have been dead a long time ago. You heard me and Big Hank. Big Hank been shot 5 different times. I've been shot 1.5 times, I would say. But the main one, when they shot me with a sawed-off shotgun on the freeway, they was trying to kill so many blacks on the 710 freeway by the Latinos and the blacks warring, and I was just a victim of a situation. I'm not even part of it. It's just that I'm black. I was guilty of being black, you know. And Dean said that just me said that's an appointment you can't reschedule by your choice. By your choice can postpone it. You feel me? And I got a confidence, y'all. You know, I didn't know why we're going this way because we're talking about church. Because, you know, to me, anybody who believes in God and we come around, that's church to me. I don't have to go to an actual building. That's why the name of this subject, I want to ask people, if just because you go to church, do you mean that you actually have a relationship with God? There's a difference. Going to a building doesn't mean that you're going for spirituality. Some people like to be part of or something, you know, like to be part of an organization, like to be this and that. You know, a lot of people like to have a title and, oh, I'm so-and-so and I'm Deacon Big Toe or I'm Minister Little Thumb. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm, you know, me, I just said, Lord, make me be what you want me to be. And I've been turning out to be pretty all right. I feel good. I feel good for people who can be honest about themselves, like just me. He don't understand. I don't care what he looks like, how big he is, how skinny he is. He gets a big hug from me because one, he's a human and he's a child of God. I can't measure him up because we've been made mistakes. We've been through it. We've been hurt. He lost his dad. He knows. Some people don't understand. You know, you have a family member. You know, he said there are a lot of people who go to church every day. It's open, and they still going to hell when that day comes. You know, and we don't. No man gives God thoughts. No man knows the mind of God. Don't be fooled when people coming up to you, because God is not an author of confusion. Let me get this right with you. God is not an author of confusion. He's going to make sure what you hear, and then what's called confirmation is when somebody else says something that you've been hearing from your own. It's called confirmation. But if somebody comes to you and say, well, God told me to tell you this, and you don't feel that in your heart, you don't have to accept that, because God ain't the author of confusion. Some people play with that role. Yeah, God told me that you need to shake it up, and man, go on with that. I'll be straight honest. I don't like people who comes to me and start trying to pray and start speaking in tongues and nobody else understands it. That is not helpful. All that. Hey, if it don't suffice you, it's not for you. God is not a person who takes advice from us. He lives through us and gives us the basic instructions before leaving earth, that then he tells us the biggest thing to do is to love the Lord your God with your heart, soul, and mind, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you hate, then you don't have no God in you. When the Ku Klux Klan would burn crosses, talking about they are the sons of God, they lying, because God don't demonstrate hate. Now, in the old times, if you read the Old Testaments, and they went to war with other groups and stuff, it's because the groups that they are dealing with at these times are heathenous people, sacrificing, worshiping idols, stuff like that. But in grace, which was given through his son Jesus Christ, that's what I believe, and me personally, it helped. And I would tell this to anybody. That's why this is about getting your spiritual hold, because then you can tackle every little situations out there in this world, as long as you have a spiritual base. The Lord tells us, just like we tell the military, they got to be on guard at all times. There's no time out when they're out there in war. They got to be alert at all times, because the enemy may want to catch them right when they up there kicking about and everything. And next thing you know, they like, oh, we catch them slipping. That's why he told us to keep our armors on at all times, having faith, believing without seeing. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Grace, unmerited favors. God, who is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. It be coming off of me, because God's words doesn't return to him void. I like when Big Hank be saying that. God's words is like raindrops that comes down to the ground and makes the grass and the flowers grow. It ain't nothing that he won't do for us. It's your belief. Now, why I couldn't get places? Because I didn't believe in myself. I knew I was a heathen. Only thing I was suspecting was death. That's why I wasn't scared of it. I think most soldiers aren't scared to die. That's why we applaud them, because they enlist up. That's why I don't. That's one of the main things I don't like about former President Donald Trump, is that you and he's still saying stuff, just me, but I don't like when he went to the cemetery, the Arlington Cemetery. Everybody knows that there's a part of the cemetery you can't take pictures of. If that was the case, people be posing like, yeah, I'm by the unknown soldier. It's sacred. And then the family who brought him talking about, oh, well, we told him he could take pictures. You know, who is you? Who is you to define what the government, what we decide as a people not to do? You have one child. Look at this. What? 400,000 people buried there for a country. You can't have somebody just me. I'm not going to disrespect. I don't never disrespect veterans or anybody who puts their lives on the line. And people say, well, you don't supposed to commit murder. The word tells us to follow what the laws of man tells us to do. You say you can take photos at the tomb of the unknowns. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, there's a section, though, just me, that tells that you're not supposed to. And then when one family said, "Well, we gave them rights," you can't. Them tombstones ain't 5 or 10 feet apart. They're beside each other. And there's a section in there that they tell you that they don't want you to photograph. They don't want you to film in there. What's up, Carl Loomis? What's up, bro? He said, that's what he said. What's up, bro? That's my brother. I got family. We all family members throughout. Because guess what, though? Because let me tell you something, why we get so disgusted with our world. Because the road to hell is wide. It's wide. And I don't judge nobody. I cannot tell somebody just me if they're going to hell or not. Because at one time I just knew I was going with gasoline draws on, you know. But by grace, we all have a chance. He said, dude, 26 degrees out here this morning. Bro, man, where are you at? I was complaining about how hot it is. I'm already been in Kansas City. It's hot in the mud, right? Yeah, 26 degrees. Oh, boy. Keep your warmth, man. Just me said, the only place I can see them not allowing photos is the guard barracks. Now, they got a section. I had the name of it, but it was the rules. And see, this is one of the things that Carl said, I pine, laugh out loud. Or one of the things is that one of the things I teach my kids, they 16, 20, to be respectful to the laws. If it tells you to don't do this, don't do that. If you go in the company and say, well, you don't go in that door and this and that, you got to respect that. This ain't no Nancy Drew mystery. You don't just peek in there to say, hey, these are the problems if that other people, they're so individualized or so, how can I say, it's me, the selfish way. Think about the others are here. And so it becomes a situation because they try to point it. And I just don't like when people try to say it's that person's fault. It's that person's fault. Man up, 10 toes down is what I was taught. Real leaders are people who if a leader is going to be a person who, if there's a problem and things, it's my fault. If it's a good thing and triumphs, goals created, then it's a team effort. I'm known like that. I'm a team leader for reductions that we do. You can ask anybody. Anytime something goes wrong, if this person did that, I tell the person, hey, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Let me get that correct for you. But when we're winning and victorious, it's a team effort. I got a call the other day from one of the major pastors down in San Diego because they've been knowing the accomplishments that I've been getting. As far as my stand-up comedy, y'all, you'll say we're gonna surprise you that we just made a monumental milestone. I mean, for real, it's major, and we can't wait to announce it to you. Everybody can see on my thing it said Roy Anthony Live Stand-up Comedy. You're supposed to say stand-up comedy show on Cluster TV, but they don't have enough words. They don't allow you to have so much words on the title. We're on Cluster TV, but we actually have 4 licenses, and 2 of the license is to 2 other studios. They bought my license through Film Hub, but I'm not detailing what the 4th one is until we got the license, and we're not detailing exactly where it's at because we're on the strict rules of not announcing until they actually set it up. But it was nothing but God. But I never let it go to my head because I just shared with you what I went through, and I don't forget. I got a belief in my heart that if I forget where I'm coming from, he's going to take everything that I'm accomplishing. And I have no other choice but to accept, because then I'm a fool. Just me said, it's not that his people took photos at Arlington's, that he is running for president again, and he can't take photos of him laying a wreath at the tomb and use it for political purposes. Well, yeah, but there's a certain area of the Arlington Cemetery that there is no photos allowed. But it raises a question: where was Biden and Harris? Well, this wasn't a national thing. I can't knock them on that, but this wasn't something that it was a set date. This was a family with one of their family members who passed 3 years ago. I guess it was a bombing or something where some of our veterans died, and they wanted to bring him down for it, and found out that they was a major um, they put major money into his campaign, because you had to question yourself. I don't know if former President Donald Trump would have went if it wasn't no money involved. I'm gonna just be real with you. He said, no, it doesn't matter. Thousands of tourists visit Arlington every day with cameras in hand. Yeah, I'm saying you can't, but there's a certain section of the Arlington Cemetery, is what I'm saying, just me, that they are saying is prohibited from any cameras. They didn't say Arlington Cemetery. They said that it was um it was the a section of it. And like you said, now he said it was the anniversary of the Afghanistan pullout. Now that's another thing. Oh, he said no, there isn't. Okay, I have to find it, because what I've been saying is that there's a section in art, because I was trying to figure out what the riff was, and they were saying that it was a section that couldn't. They called it something 60 or something, and then um now you just mentioned something. I'm gonna say this to you, just me. You just mentioned that it was the anniversary of Afghanistan pull out. He said no, that's wrong, and so that's what they've been saying in the news. You know, and I know we can say fake news or whatever. I went on to the Arlington thing, and I've been trying to figure this out. So I'm gonna dig in deeper too. And you can send me facts. Anybody want to send me facts? You can you welcome send me. You can send it to my email. Let me put up, you can get my email. I always put my PayPal's on there too, but this is my email. Please send me stuff that, if it'll help with the conversation, because I deal with facts. I don't like theories or anything. Anybody knows that about me. I don't like theories. I like to be right about it. But my biggest thing while I was bringing this up was that God tells us we can't be hot and cold. You be lukewarm, you're gonna spool you from the mouth. That means he don't have nothing to do with you. Fresh water does not put out salt water. There's two different varieties of fish. You got your freshwater fish, you got your sea fish, which is salt water. You can't speak both ways. A stream can't put out fresh water and then salt water. It can't do it. It's divided within itself, but then it becomes it's a problem. It's a corroded situation. There's areas in Seattle where seawater meets the fresh water, and these ravines. If you ever been to Seattle, and they have these fish markets, because a lot of fish in this, and their fish really be tasting good in certain aspects. Um, um, just me, I've been to Arlington more than a few times. Okay, cool. So there's no section that saved no photos and stuff. I don't I don't understand what's going on. And like you said, he said they can't use it for a presidential. I see what you're saying, that he couldn't also use it as a presidential op. Like, look here, I do care, because now it feels like he's trying to clean up what he's been saying about the Medal of Freedom and the Medal of Honor. You know what I'm saying? Just the guard barracks. This is what he said. They can't film the guard barracks. Okay. I'm gonna listen to him because he's been there. So that's factual. Someone's been there and he's been a 13-year veteran. I'm gonna listen to just me on that. But I do apply that to have a spiritual base. That's the whole thing, because we're going into our society and it's getting more wicked and divided. I was watching the Senate, and Miss Marjorie Greene got checked, and she got mad, and she left the Senate. Just me said, you can't even get into the guards barracks. Okay, I'm with you. Carl Loomis said they can't film the guards barracks, but there's videos of them out there getting ready in the guard barracks. All right. And you can't walk on the plaza. Okay, I'm with you. I say I look forward to going to it. I've been to the one in Leavenworth in Kansas that veteran cemetery, and I've been to the one out there in Los Angeles because I've had two uncles just pass at the VA hospital within the past 5 years, one last year, and I've seen theirs, tremendously a lot of white crosses, and it just overwhelms you that me being a citizen, that the freedom that these people laid their lives down for a country, and this is sometimes what I'm trying to say is we tend to not give reference to our military. I'm seeing more stuff about these politicians than I see of our veterans. That was special access to show what it looks like and what the guards do before they go out. Okay, now I do seem that they do a changing of the guards, kind of sound familiar, like they do over in England, at the changing of the guards and stuff like that. It's real fascinating to me when a person can stand still for so many hours. You can't get their attention. I'd be like, hey, I applaud that. But I want to go back to God. And this is the truth. And I will challenge anybody. I got a couple of people who they say they're Hindu. I know a lot of guys that are Muslims and Islamics. I and and I always put this before them. You can chant for 15 minutes. You can be a Hindu and chant for 15 minutes. Let me put this out. He just me say every half hour during the summer and every hour during the winter, I think. Okay. That's when they have to change of the guards. When for okay, so I'm getting onto this about spirituality again. You know that if you chant in Hindu, you believe in Hindu or whatever, you can chant for 15 minutes and nothing ever happens. I've seen Buddhist monks. Nothing ever happens. They enlightenment with wisdom is what they say, but they seem to be old as I don't know what. You would think you should have some wisdom as old as you are. Experience is best teacher. I've seen Muslims and everything praying to the east. I've even sat with the Muslims and had dinner with them, and they said the prayer and they invited me to prayer. But when I prayed, but I was praying to Jesus. I'm just being honest. And I told them that. Now, I've seen the Muslims and they pray and everything. I've never seen nothing happen. But let me tell you something. Everybody knows this. Take 10 to 15 minutes just out of your whole day. Just when we get off this podcast, I challenge you. I challenge you. 15 minutes, if you pray and concentrate on God through his son Jesus, whether you believe or not, just try it. Something occurs. Something starts happening. You start feeling remorse about things you have done. I've gotten tearful and something starts moving in me. That's why they said it's a living spirit. Just me say, if you ever go to DC, stop by Arlington. It's very fascinating. Anybody who's going to Washington DC, and I think I've always said I want to go to Washington DC, and so for real, I've always wanted to take the pictures of the monuments, the Lincoln statues, and all that stuff, right? And so I'd say that we all go venture in your life, but on this concentration on spirituality. Just like Just Me, he's 18 days sober. Every day, the first, the minutes and the seconds and the reasons, but every day, he says Southeast Pennsylvania is very fascinating as well, all the Civil War battlegrounds. Okay, check that out. We've got us a tour guide on there. Starla said, hi, Just Me. Hi, Carl Loomis, and stuff. Loomis, I'm sorry. But I'm staying on this subject. Guys, I want to say, I challenge you 10 to 15 minutes. Now, he don't care what you dress like. Look, he knows I'm representing my Raiders. Football season is starting. Yes, I'm a Raiders fan. And I love having fun with Richie he's a Chiefs fan, of course. Hi, Charlotte. And it amazes me how Chiefs fans all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes and now they're modified, all that, but that's all right. My promoter is a Steelers fan, I'm a Raiders fan. But it doesn't consume me spiritually. God is my salvation. If you believe in God, you do it well because the devils believe and they tremble. I'm telling you, I challenge anybody who sees this, the replays and everything. Concentrate on spiritual God and his son Jesus, whether it's the right name. Some people get so, man, they kill me. His real name is Joshua. Your real name is this and that. Hey, let me tell you something. God is not stupid. Just me. Carl said, yes, sir. I try to do that once every night before I go to bed. I pray about my day and I pray about the day before me, and something changed and something don't change. He has a plan for all of us. But I'm saying that emotional. When you praying, something happens. If you just try. Carl Loomis said, hi, Miss Starlet. Just me and said, hi, Starlet. Look, I challenge you. Am I perfect? No. Do you have to be dressed accordingly? No. God don't look at our clothes, materials, like they said. Naked I come in the world, naked I'm gonna leave. He's looking at our heart. He's looking at you being truthful. How you work with your neighbors. Do you have contempt in your heart? Or have you forgave everyone? Forgive yourself. Forgive others who have done bad to you and stuff. Let them be able to forgive you. Let them ask for forgiveness. And be quick to give it to them, because it's what God does for us. But I challenge anybody, just like you said, Carl, you pray. But when you first, and you got a confidence, because when you pray every day, that's because you got a confidence in God to want to pray. But to those who say, man, I don't know how to pray, hey, just say, Lord, I don't know it well. Because let me give you an example. This is a true story, and I've said this before, and I'll share it again. There was a little girl who was lost. She was 4 years old. Now, little 4-year-olds know to say the ABCs and they know how to count. The little girl then got lost. She went wandering around and got this and got lost. So her parents and the other neighbors and stuff is out calling for her. Baby girl, baby girl, baby girl, where you are? I'm just saying baby girl, say the baby girl's name. A baby girl. So of course, parents' hearts think, I know how I would feel looking for my kids. I know I would be feeling like looking for my child. Best challenge I've ever heard, Roy. Thank you for that, brother. For real. It's like these people is yelling for their kid. Baby girl. Other neighbors is coming in. So can you imagine what the parents is feeling like, and their friends is feeling despair because they've been out there since the afternoon, and now it's getting towards twilight. So one of the neighbors said, well, instead of letting the dark catch up with us, I'm going to go to the house and go get some flashlights and I got some lanterns, and that way we can keep it moving. Just imagining, I can just picture the parents thinking something gruesome. She done fell in the hole. Somebody done took her. All these thoughts is going to go through your head. But somebody's praying. Somebody's praying at this moment. And what it was, the little girl is praying. But she's not praying as educated like us grown people is. The man who's going to get the flashlights, he hears a little murmuring, some, like a voice in his backyard. He's like, what's that? And he goes to the back, and it's the little girl. So, of course, he's amazed, like, your parents, neighborhood looking for you, little girl. What's up? And she was crying, holding on him. And he said, well, what was you doing? She said, I was saying my ABCs. Your ABCs? Why was you back here saying ABCs? She said, well, I was praying to God, but I don't know what to say. So I felt that if I just put the letters out to him, He will put the words together for me. And he heard her prayer. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So if you don't know how to say a prayer, just have belief by just saying, let me just say the alphabet. And tell me if God won't answer, because he knows your heart. I don't know why I came to this. I was about to talk about the churches and everything, but God's been letting me know how real he is. I don't care if you black, white, Latino, Asian. I don't care. I don't care if you Methodist, Baptist, whatever. Challenge it. Something happens in you. I'm rough and tough as hard as nails. I'm known. I was in the streets. I was known. I didn't care. I didn't care. You ain't gonna see tears out of my eyes. So I've seen people die. I'm a cry myself. I'm too hard. But let me tell you something. When God get in your heart and something starts moving in you, you look past yourself and you look at what God has done for you prior to this moment, saved your life. Our veterans are at home. Just me been in the service 12, 13 years. He could have been shot and we don't have no conversation with him. I'm no saint. I'm no angel. I'm lower than I'm no bigger than the sand, what they say, the grain of sand that I stand on. But he told me if you can deny me, I deny you. And the last person I need against me is God. That's why I'm happy when he say, if God is for you, who can be against you? Thank you, Lord, because I'm a witness. So I challenge you this day, no matter what's going on in your life, just say, Lord, I want to try. I want to see what Roy's talking about. You don't see me with no tie on. You don't see me hitting no tamarines. You ain't see me say, hey, if you don't do it my way, you're going to hell. I don't have no way of knowing where you're going because I don't give God advice. I only try to adhere to what is hitting me in my heart, to love my neighbor as I love myself. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not trying to kill myself. Well, I remember at the time, I'll tell you, that's testimony. Since then, I ain't trying to kill myself. I ain't trying to steal from myself. I'm not going to steal from you. I'm not going to let myself go hungry. I'm not going to let you go hungry. My word is my bond. There's something we've been putting together, Carl Loomis. I just want you to know, I don't want you and Miss Caitlin and your beautiful kids think like, oh, Roy just saying this stuff on the podcast. He ain't sending no press. Oh, yeah, because we've been putting the group together. Man, we got some nice ideas that we're sending. Because me, I was like, man, what do you send the family? And so I'm like, as a man, Carl works construction. Oh, he need coffee. But then one of the teammates said, well, what about the kids? Kids don't drink no coffee. So we start putting a list together. That's what we've been doing, Carl. You'll see. I don't have to lie to nobody. I didn't know I was going to go this route. But I'm going to let y'all know this. God is closer to you than your own mouth. If you listen to this, it's a reason you're hearing this. And you don't have to say, well, God, Roy told me to call upon you. No, call upon it for yourself. I'm just telling you what worked for me. He'll put a chain around your neck, an earring in your ear, shelter over your head, clothes on your back. Mine says Raiders. He will do it. I got love for Carl Loomis. I got love for Just Me. I got love for the WO Entertainment family. I love Richie and his beautiful wife, Shelly. That's my brother and sister, my man Goose. Thank you, darling. She said, great. So, gentlemen, Carl said, ooh, brother, I know you're busy and things are crazy right now. We know you got us, brother. I do. And I'm gonna surprise y'all. But before anything, find me a liar and God the truth. Find out for yourself. Just like Just Me was explaining about Arlington Park, I'm not going to argue with this man because the media told me. I ain't been there. Just me been there. I'm going to listen to him because I trust him quicker than I do the news people. I'm going to trust my man who's been there and stuff. And Carl said, if you don't know how to pray, just treat it like a conversation with a man who is listening but isn't in front of you. He's all around us. He is listening all the time. He ever gives us at every turn. Okay, he gives us. He had ran out of characters. He was putting it in. I can see Carl up there. Hey, yeah, boy, guys, been good to me. Boy, you better. You feel me? I implore you to this day. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait for this evening. Don't wait for 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. I just ask you to try 10, 15 minutes. Just be real with it and see if something don't move. See if it don't move. It'll turn your heart. Tears come out of nowhere. You feel remorse. That's a living spirit. That's nothing fake. It don't make you weak. You know, yeah, he ain't made me weak. You know what? He made me stronger. I'm bold as a mud right now. I'm strong with it because there's nothing like satisfaction, like soul salvation, and hoping that I'm trying to get right to heaven. Just being real. Hey, man, I'm Roy Anthony. I love you, but smile. I love you, but God loves you way more and can do a lot more. Until next Tuesday, God's will, y'all have a blessed weekend. Pray for me, Big Hank, Cynthia Joy, and I pray for you. Love you very much. I'm out.
Welcome to the Roy Anthony and Friends Show. Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all tap in.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony.